Well, welcome and good evening, you wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8, and this is part 2 of Let's Play The Letter. It's a horror game visual novel, and where we last left off, I ended my previous recording at this part because I'm worried that it might show something too graphic for YouTube. And if it does, then, well, you won't even hear this recording because I'll just delete it and then resume at whenever... Because I can't really edit. I don't have editing software, and I don't really want to use editing software. But, yeah, I stopped it because I didn't have to re-record a part. But I don't know how bad this is going to get. So, hoping it's not as graphic as Deathmark. I want to double check real quick, make sure it's recording. I know I just looked at it for like a minute straight. But, yeah. I feel like every recording I need to double check it's recording. Anyway, a pair of blood-soaked feet enters my field of vision, covered in gaping wounds, with skin eaten away to reveal flesh, bone, and all manner of things one is not meant to see. It's too much. Yes, it is. All of it is too much. It's way too much. I want to cry, call for help, but the words catch in my throat. Even my feet won't move, completely paralyzed out of terror. Oh, dear goodness. Be brave and look up. I need to face it. Oh, crap, we have butterfly effects? What is this? The, what, Until Dawn game? Like Dead by Dawn, Dead by Daylight game? Where the butterfly effects? Whatever these feet belong to, I need to face it. And if I'm going to die, if they're going to kill me, at least I'll know what my killer looks like. A cold comfort. So, with a deep breath, I summon every ounce of courage I have left in me and shift my gaze. Oh, God! Oh, God! That actually makes me uncomfortable. It's not as graphic as... Yeah?
Please, don't hurt me.
My ears! I have the volume at 4! That's not any less unsettling!
No!
I know this is a video game. And I'm sitting in broad daylight. But I do have to go to sleep at some point to go back to work. Without thinking, I scrambled toward the door. I struggle to open it, but it won't budge.
Stay away! Go away! Please, Lord! Make it go away!
Why now? Why won't it open now? My heart sinks as reality dawns in. I'm locked in. Locked in with that thing. Well, you're dead. Unless you can jump through the window that is right behind me. It slowly approached me as I wrenched the doorknob violently back and forth. Tap Z! Why am I tapping? Oh, shit! Oh, God! How many of those kinds of events are there going to be? And is it going to be a Z every time? Yes? The door finally swings open, and I couldn't have been happier. Wasting no time, I leap out the door and don't look back. My feet pound against the floor in rhythm with loud, fast beating of my heart. I would just immediately leave. By the time I run past the hallway and find myself atop the grand staircase, my chest feels so tight, like it's going to burst. But that's nothing compared to the feeling of hope the sight of the exit gives me. Racing down the stairs, a breathy laugh escapes me, and my shoe slips and I find myself falling. Until my back hits the ground and pain wrecks my body. Ah, shit. My head grows fuzzy and the vision dims as I fight to stay conscious. That's not good.
Go away.
The last thing I see are those feet before all I know is darkness. Is she dead? Yes. Did she die? I'm asking. Are we loading? Hello? A buzz breaks the silence. I start to rouse, pulled into consciousness against my own will. I've never felt this tired before. I just want to sleep, but the incessant buzzing, poking, and prodding isn't letting me. My old mattress may not be the comfiest of places, but that doesn't make me any more eager to wake up.
5 more minutes, Becca.
Okay. I swat away at what is nudging persistently at my side. Can't I just get a few extra minutes of sleep today? I promise I'll work hard once I wake up. A hand lightly taps my cheek, and something cold is suddenly being pressed at the back of my head. The icy sensation slowly spreads throughout the area, giving me an uncomfortable feeling.
Isabella? Isabella? Stop. Can you hear me? Isabella?
The fog immediately lifts from my mind the moment I recognize the voice, and my eyes snap open. Okay, so there's Rose and whoever you are. They're looking down at me as Rose. Another woman loiters beside her, but my attention is too focused on my co-agent to even ask why there is someone else with her. Rose's posture just screams worry, although she's keeping a straight face, or trying at least. I can't help but feel bad for making her fret. A wave of dizziness washes over me as soon as I try to get up, forcing me to lie back down again. Luckily, the feeling subsides after a few seconds, until only a mild throbbing somewhere at the back of my head remains. With a little assistance from Rose, I push myself upright. She hands me an ice pack and gestures for me to press it where I suspect a small bump is already formed, if the light ache in the area indicates anything.
All right, Isabella, where are we?
We're at a
The
mansion.
Ermengarde mansion. Why? Ow, my head.
And the date today?
October 21st? Rose.
Last one. Can you count to 15 in reverse order?
Trying to make sure I didn't concussion
15,
or brain damage.
14, 13, 12 teen. No, that's wrong.
But you did hit
Why
your
are we
head.
doing this?
She's just checking if your injury is in any way serious.
This time I curiously regard the woman standing beside Rose. It's impossible to overlook her, what with the way she towers over us. And here I thought Rose is already tall. She's not that much taller than her, like what? I would suspect Rose is probably like what, 5'6", and I would suspect the woman on the left is probably 5'8". I'm 5'10". Though back when I was 13, I actually used to be 5'11", but I've already shrank an inch since then, so. Who is she anyway? One of the remaining cleaning crews? But with how primly dressed she is, I don't think anyone would want to clean this suit. An expensive suit at that. The glove alone makes one cost a fortune. She's probably a potential buyer. Her eyes slowly shift between me and Rose, considering us with an almost unreadable expression, before finally fixing a sharp gaze on me. I can't help but fold my arms protectively over myself as she does so. She may be far from a cleaning crew, but she certainly looks like our supervisor during an evaluation.
Just do it, please.
I eyed them both warily, but recite everything as she has asked. Rose releases a breath of relief once I am done.
You scared me for a moment there. I was about to call for an ambulance. Are you all right?
Exasperation soon replaces the dull ache. The memory is a little fuzzy, but the attic and...
There was someone, Rose. In the attic.
Someone? You mean a client? Oh, that's unlikely. It's probably just one of the cleaning crews. The boss sent a few of them back this morning for some last minute...
They're all dead. They're all dead!
No, not any of those. They're, I'm not actually sure.
Now you're actually doing well here, Isabella. You don't mention, I saw a corpse ghost person, because then they'll think you're crazy, or that you hit your head really hard. Just say you saw somebody, but you didn't get a super good look at them, but there was somebody else here.
Wait, didn't I call you? You said you were in the attic when you answered. That's why I went there in the first place.
Both Rose and the lady look at me like I've just grown another head. Did I say something weird? Rose quickly casts An apologetic smile at the woman before the awkward silence stretches on further. It's her saleswoman smile, the same one she taught me back when I was still her trainee. I should show this to troublesome clients or just to avoid trouble in general, she advised. It's also the same one she gives me when I've done something particularly absurd that may cause us to lose a potential sale. At this point, they're probably just going to write off to, you hit your head and you're remembering wrong. Her eyes are serious when she turns back to me. She takes both my shoulders, gently squeezes it, and with as much patience she can muster.
As much as I'd love to have gotten at least a heads up of your arrival, I didn't really get a call from you. You know, signal here is absolutely horrendous. I was in the garden earlier and couldn't even make a single call. Isabella, I'm going to ask again. Are you really all right? What happened?
Best answer is this. I thought I called you. I went to the attic. I saw somebody there. They threatened me. I ran and I fell down the stairs. You don't mention ghost people.
I don't know. It's all a bit blurry.
That's also an acceptable answer.
I remember I was looking for you, but you weren't in the attic. And there's whoever it is. Then I must have tripped on a rug or something on the way down.
That is actually a very good way to phrase your story. Because if you say there was a ghost lady, they're going to have problems with you.
Oh no. Do you think someone came in while you were out? You left the main door open. We are so going to get into big trouble if something gets stolen, Rose.
Perhaps it is a concussion.
Are you sure you feel fine? We could still call for an ambulance. I could cover for you.
It's actually easier to get a concussion than what, it's led on to believe. But concussions are not good for you. They're very bad.
No, I'm fine. I'm okay, Rose.
I've actually had my head stapled a bit myself. On the left side of my head, I had like a dozen or so staples across that. So, I lost quite a bit of blood. My head felt kind of cold. Apparently when you lose blood, you lose some of your heat. Wait. Hold your horses, Rose. I just can't miss an important sale because of a minor bump in the head. An extremely minor bump. Okay. I understand you can't say shit about the ghosts of these people, but you should still leave. I had worse when I was a kid. This is nothing.
Besides, if I leave, you'll have to shoulder everything in the open house. Alone. And in a mansion this big?
Well, there's also a part where I may lose that bonus BRC promise, but that's completely beside the point. Rose gives me a skeptical look when I return the cold compress to her and push myself off the floor. I have to use the staircase railing to steady myself, but otherwise I feel fine.
See? I'm A-okay.
The two of them exchange a worried glance, and Rose assumes a contemplative look. I bite my lower lip in anticipation if she says no.
All right, you in.
A smile threatens to slip out from me.
If I see that you aren't feeling well, I'm taking you personally to the nearest clinic to have you checked. Clear?
Clear.
Clear as day, ma'am. Thanks, Rose.
Okay.
You insisted. But remember what I said. First sign of you looking not okay, and we're off. No questions asked.
It's just a small bump. Don't worry.
You shouldn't downplay these kinds of things. It could be a serious injury for all we know.
Suddenly, a small cough sounds against the walls of the foyer, interrupting our banter. The woman is looking expectantly at the two of us, her stare making me shrink back a little on myself. She isn't really intimidating. Well, she is. But not in the scary negative way. Far from it, her demeanor simply commands an air of sophistication and respect. In a different world, a younger me would have probably wished to be like her. At a lack of response, she coughs again, lifting a well-trimmed eyebrow at me in question. Words getting caught in my throat at the sight of it, and Rose, as usual, is swift to catch my blunders.
My sincerest apologies, Mrs.
Miss McCulloch. Marianne McCulloch.
McCulloch? Like McCulloch? She's like putting some phlegm into the pronunciation of that word. Marianne McCallum said, "What languages use that?" She hands Rose her business card. Okay, so interior design. Florist? Catch my eyes. Oh, probably someone enters the mansion for its 17th century influences then? I won't have it against her, though. Despite the hearsays and remaining uninhabited for years, the mansion's original fittings and furniture have been kept completely intact and restored to pristine condition. I want to double check recording. Yes, it is recording. Okay. I suppose some people find the trip to the past feeling appealing. It's interesting to tour, but I wouldn't want to live in one of those places. After all, with what it offers, this place could also be a haven for people looking to live somewhere with a classic historical charm.
Miss McCullough, I'm Rose Cooper, and this is my partner, Isabella Santos. We're just ironing out a few things, but we'll be starting the tour soon enough.
Okay.
In the meantime, we've prepared some refreshments for you in the parlor while you're waiting. If you could please.
Thanks. There's no need for it, though. I just dropped by for a quick survey of the place.
I feel like her voice is a mix of Irish and Hebrew accents. Am I imagining that?
I thought I should check the estate before I meet with the homeowners.
I feel like someone's taking a British-speaking person and giving it an Irish accent and a Hebrew accent. Though my main understanding of Hebrew accent is just my few interactions with Jewish people and with movies about Jewish things and, well, songs featuring Jewish music or Hebrew. I know this sounds kind of silly, but the two main songs I can really think of Hebrew that I really particularly know are Ashira Ladonai by the Prince of Egypt movies back when I was a little kid, and the song "Send Me an Angel" by Infected Mushroom. I think it's pretty cool that Infected Mushroom does some songs in English, some in Spanish, some in Hebrew, and even other languages. Then again, I'm a big fan of Rammstein, to the point that I actually look up the translations of all their songs, and of course of Tattoo, the band from Russia. I like listening to music of all sorts of languages, though I'm always curious to know what the words are and what they're actually talking about. Oh yeah, if I could recommend an anime, I'd recommend like Trigun, Outlaw Star, Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040, Ajin. All really good animes. And against my better judgment, I blurt out the first question that comes to mind.
I'm sorry. Homeowners?
I should have kept my mouth shut. A flash of irritation crosses her face, but it instantly disappears under a mask of professional detachment.
Yes. Hannah Wright? She hired me to handle the interior design for their new home.
So somebody has already agreed to buy it?
This is the Ermengarde mansion, right?
Okay, you guys are looking at me like I said something stupid. I didn't say something stupid. You just said you're doing something for the homeowners. This is an open house for people to buy it. What you are saying implies that somebody has already bought it, even though it's an open house. I feel like this is information I should have been told even before I came here. And if I was, then I'm going to assume hitting my head really hard made me forget.
It is, but...
She pauses, possibly trying to find the right words to fix the awkward situation without offending someone. I don't know. And it's not that I want to pick the I don't know option. It's that I don't know what I'm supposed to say here. Well, you can't just say, oh, I don't know. Those few moments have given me enough time to clear my head of any nervousness or confusion clouding it.
It is, ma'am, but we weren't aware the mansion has already been sold.
Yeah, because here's the thing. It's an open house. Isn't the whole point for people to come here who are interested in buying it? I mean, and if somebody's already bought the house, I mean, as the realtors, shouldn't we be the first to know this?
What do you mean?
No one told us! We're supposed to know this! We're the real estate people. We're supposed to know about this. I feel like I was left out of the loop! I almost flinch when she turns her gaze on me, but I stand my ground. Besides, it isn't like I haven't dealt with awkward situations like this before. I may screw up at times, but that doesn't mean I haven't learned a thing or two in 5 years working the business. Well, you're human. You're going to mess up sometimes.
The mansion is indeed for sale, ma'am. Today's the open house, in fact. However, we haven't heard anything from the higher-ups that a deal has already been closed for this particular property. If you'd like, my co-agent and me can check with them right now.
She nods, seemingly in deep thought after I've finished. She appears to be a reasonable person anyway. Given the proper explanation, she'd surely understand.
I thought something looked odd. Excuse me, I need to call my secretary.
Thank you for your assistance, Miss Santos.
With a slight wave of her hand, she leaves us. That seems to be the end of it. Both Rose and I breathe a sigh of relief. Disaster averted. I also don't miss the thumbs up she gives me for doing a good job, and I can't help but swell with pride and blood. Still, I've already prepared myself to dial the number to our Luxborn office and check, even if she didn't ask for it. I will be very frustrated if, for some reason, something has already been decided without my or Rose's knowledge. Yes, you should be. And we will save here. That's a whole new level of unfair. We've been working hard on this. Moments later, Miss McCullough returns, looking a little frustrated, but with an apology clear in her face. I feel a little sorry for her having to go through all this trouble.
There seems to have been a little misunderstanding with my client. If you'll allow it, I'd like to stay and wait for them here.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was informed they'll be dropping by for the open house today. I figured it'd be a waste to just leave after that long drive. I might as well meet him here.
Makes sense, but if you knew about the ghost I saw earlier, you'd get the fuck out, but you wouldn't believe me. But yeah, I feel like this is a British person talking with a mix of an Irish and a Hebrew accent. Am I placing that wrong? That's what I'm hearing. And I almost swear like I hear a tiny bit of French in Rose.
Certainly. You could stay at the parlor in the meantime, ma'am. I'm sure it won't be long before our guests arrive. And, Isabella? I left a few documents in my car. You know where I keep those. Can you please get it for me?
Sure. Rose takes a glance at her wristwatch before tossing me a
And
set of
hurry!
keys.
We've still got a few minutes to double-check those papers.
I feel like there's gonna be an ending. Like, how many different endings are there? Like, where I'm just have to go through and just start killing my characters off. Like, what if I didn't tap Z so damn much and my character fucking died? The two of them disappear behind the parlor's doors. Their departure brings with it a stillness to keep me company, neither welcoming nor comforting. Alone like this, it's impossible not to think of what really happened. I wish the memory isn't as elusive as it normally is. Then again, Rose already said that she didn't receive a call from me. Was it just paranoia, a temporary lapse after having heard all those tales of the plays? Probably. I want to think of it as such. Better to think of it as such so I can work in peace. Except a small part of my mind begs differ. And if I'm going to be completely honest with myself, I want nothing more than to leave this place as soon as possible. Well, here's the biggest thing, though. You had a letter. So here's the thing. Do you still have the letter? That's how you know if it's a dream or not. You know, if you had a physical, like if you wake up and you're holding a physical option for your dream, that shouldn't belong where there's a problem. The keys Rose have just handed me dig into my palm, and its jagged edges creates shallow ridges on my skin from how hard I'm clutching it. It's a reminder of what I still need to do and why I've taken this job in the first place. Hugging my blazer close to my body, I exit the house to get what Rose has asked of me. Just a few more hours, Isabella. Sell the house, get the money. What the fuck is this? I hear people. That means everything's safer now. A flock of people have already gathered in the Mansion's front yard by the time we officially open the doors. Everything must be safe now because there's a large group of people. There can't be anything bad happening with a large group of people, right? 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 I'm not sure whether I should feel baffled or underdressed standing in their presence. Men and women of wealth and status, all dressed to the nines in the fancy suits, I've never heard that expression before, of lovely dresses in varying colors, compose the medium-sized crowd. Okay. I think I'm fine to save here. Their necks, arms, and fingers are adorned with silver and gold, glinting in the afternoon sun. Some even have ridiculously fancy feathered hats on their heads. I really hope there aren't any magpies living nearby like in the stories. Those birds will have a field day in this. They are murmuring among themselves, looking at the estate's facade appraisingly, with some arguing about whose mansion has the superior architecture. But most of it stops as Rose calls for their attention. They don't look too pleased at being ordered around, but what can they do about it? That's the whole point of a tour!
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Rose Cooper, and this is my partner, Isabella Santos.
I will say this kind of reminds me of like ASMR stuff. I like ASMR. The very calm, peaceful ASMRs. Now, granted, some people take it to weird areas about stuff that is not calm or peaceful at all. That's like a fucking horrors thing. And some people make it into a sexual thing, which is also really weird. Me, I think the best thing about ASMR is the idea that it's sort of like a hypnosis / relaxation meditation thing. The whole point of it is it's supposed to be able to distract your mind from things that do have you unsettled. That way, if you have PTSD or just rampant emotions from a hectic day or just unresolved emotional conflicts, it can help you to cope with that and calm down and just to relieve that stress and feel better. And perhaps if it has positive affirmations to maybe overcome some bad cognitive dispositions that you might have. Help you as a cheaper alternative to therapy. Because therapy tends to be super expensive, so I just stick to watching videos on YouTube, whether it be Let's Players or ASMR, to help me deal with, plus, I just find Let's Plays very entertaining. Hopefully, someone out there finds my Let's Plays entertaining. Or at the very least, listening to this random personal ramble makes you feel less alone. Because I know a lot of times listening to other people's Let's Players, when I couldn't hang out with other people, it helped me not to feel alone anymore. But, yeah, I like the ASMRs that are it's calm, peaceful, relaxing. It helps you not to feel scared, especially if there's stuff in real life that has you worried. Basically, it can help you stop having constant panic attacks and anxiety, and help you to function as a normal human being in the real world. And to cope with things like trauma and depression, and just all sorts of stuff. Anyway.
We'll be taking a tour of the mansion in 2 groups. Please make sure you filled up our sign-in forms before joining a specific group.
Okay.
Those who want to look around the first floor, please follow my partner. I'll be guiding the ones who wish to see the ground floor.
Why would you? The first floor is the ground floor. Technically, the one up top would be referred to as the second floor. Hearing this, a few wander to me. They are mostly old ladies who seem daunted at the idea of climbing all those stairs. It can't be that many stairs. Miss name I can't pronounce also joins our group. But what really catches my eye is the elegantly dressed pair she approaches. I know this is inappropriate of me, but my eye is immediately on what is below that blue necklace. Now, I definitely see that the artist has a very similar method of drawing eyes and faces, and it's very apparent. But it's in no wise bad. It's just like, say, Akira Toriyama of Dragon Ball Z. You watch enough DBZ, you get a feel for what his style of art is. Same way with Tite Kubo from Bleach. Or, say, Miyazaki, I think, for Berserk. You know, you get a feeling for what kind of art styles people use. I mean, could you imagine if the person like Studio Ghibli did Dragon Ball Z, how Goku would look? Or what if Studio Trigger did Dragon Ball Z and they did Goku, how Goku would look? Could you imagine Goku as done by Studio Trigger? That'd probably be really cool looking.
It's so nice to finally meet you! When Chief Inspector Lee mentioned that a famous interior designer is in town, I knew I had to get you.
Okay, so you're the clients. That makes sense.
Your confidence in my skills is very flattering, ma'am.
Okay, that's a change in tonation from you.
I'm sure you won't disappoint, Marianne.
Oh, you know each other?
Not at all, ma'am.
You mentioned something about a Marianne on our way here, darling?
Oh, yes, I think I did.
Okay. So does she not know him? Or did they used to fuck and they're trying to cover that? Ah, they must be the clients she was talking about. I might have seen their faces somewhere. Some magazine or the television. I can't quite remember. But then again, most of our guests have likely ended up on the news one way or another. I won't be surprised if those two already have. For people who are popular, though, they aren't dressed as loudly as the others, and in their simplicity, the couple stands out. The woman, well, I can agree with that being too ostentatious is very pretentious and self-centered and kind of weird. Then again, that's also coming from somebody who, while I've never been to a Comic-Con, I kind of would like to go to a Comic-Con one day, and I find cosplay pretty interesting, so if I could dress up in a cosplay, I think that'd be kind of cool. Like be Vash the Stampede from Trigun or something like that. In particular, stunning enough to turn heads of most of the people in my group. Yeah, I was looking at her tits. I'm sorry. Especially the men with wondering eyes. I'm one of them! The guy standing beside her doesn't seem to mind, though. Well, I mean, I've had girlfriends who were the eye of people. I'm like, okay, I understand. I have a very beautiful girlfriend. So, that was a while ago. Anyway. And if I'm going to be a bit bolder with my assumptions, I'd say he's basking in the attention. Both of them, in fact. I'd think they are brother and sister if it weren't for their public display of affection. The matching rings on their fingers just cement the fact that they are indeed a couple. My only sunshine. Oh, yes. Has anyone ever heard that song? You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. Whatever. Couple or not, what's important is we get the deal closed, before the current owners can even think of canceling the listing. Why are you offering to save here? I haven't made any decisions. Couple or not, what's important is we get this deal closed. Before the current owner, I already read this. I just hope one of the people in Maya Rose's group is brave and generous enough to buy this mansion. And so, with papers in hand, I lead the way. You just offered to save. What on earth could I have fucked up in 3 seconds when I had no choices? I appreciate the options, but still, I lead the way. Okay. When they aren't whispering among themselves or going ooh and ah over one thing or another, they ask questions as you'd expect they would. From how the restoration process went to the history of the place, I answer them all, more than happy to talk about the art pieces and the architecture mostly. However, I'm careful not to mention anything about the urban legend. That kind of makes sense. Not a good material for sales talk, even if the entire population of Luxborn knows about it.
Some of the furnishings here are actually the 17th century originals, all of which have undergone a painstaking restoration process just to return its original beauty.
It's kind of like saying, try our new amazing Ferrari. It can go to 0 to 60 in this many seconds. It's got this accessory in that one. And if you go at top speed around a curve and don't make the turn in time, you can die in a flaming wreck. Not a selling point.
Even the glass thing.
It's
The
a
other ones. Oh, I don't know, but you get the idea, I hope.
It's a stained glass window. Which, I'll say this. I am not a Catholic myself, but I've seen a lot of the old Catholic architecture churches in the Gothic style, especially when I went to a trip to Washington, D.C. when I was earlier, and it was just so beautiful. Just the way it was built. I mean, granted, like I said, and then again, while I believe in God, I'm not really very... What's the best way to put it? Fervent in it? In the regard that I'm the least judgmental person in the whole world. I don't care what other religion other people are, and I've been friends with people that are Jewish, atheists, and all sorts of denomination of Christian, because even though Christianity is a pretty solid group, I mean, as a belief of, Jesus, there's like hundreds of different deviations of it where everyone is disagreeing with each other about minor things. And heck, whether you're Jewish or Christian, you believe in the same God. It's just you have a different belief in what was going on in regard to Jesus. But the main point is this. Everyone should be respected and, treated with respect, regardless of their beliefs. But the main point of the story is this. The stained glass and the Gothic architecture of the buildings was so beautiful. And it was amazing. Then again, I remember going to the art museums, the history museums, even the Holocaust Museum. And it was just... I think it's amazing that we have buildings with history in it like that. So that we can learn from our past and hopefully never repeat any of the terrible things that have happened in the past for humanity. Like I said, I've never understood racism, and I've never understood how people could treat others different based on color of skin, or gender, or sexuality, or in regard to their religion, race, how they speak. And if you can speak more than one language, that's amazing. I've tried to learn other languages, and I'm just awful at it. I am horrible at it. But I find, just the way other languages are sometimes set up, and the way the sounds are different, and how the use of phonetics are, it's very interesting. But then again, I'm the kind of nerdy person that looks into a Dungeons and Dragons book, and looks into the writings for Elvish, and Draconic, and Dwarfish, because I find it fascinating. It's just the way the letters move together, the way you'd imagine that certain sounds would be. But then again, I like The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. Then again, my very first Star Wars movie I ever watched was Spaceballs, which is a parody of Star Wars. So that was a very unique experience, watching the parody of Star Wars before ever having actually watched a single Star Wars myself. But then again, that was probably a couple of decades ago. I was quite young. So also, it was kind of bit more action than I was used to at that point. But yeah, I just don't understand why everyone just can't accept each other. I don't like it when people are mean to each other. I just want everyone to be able to get along and be nice to each other. Hell, if I had my way, I'd try to be friends with everybody. Then again, I also have that kind of weird thing I mentioned where sometimes the tone of my voice changes. Sometimes my emotions kind of take a drastic change. Even my sense of morality. In general, I tend to be a nice person in my head. And even when I am not a nice person in my head, I can still pretend to be a nice person outside to other people. Because regardless of how depressed or angry or paranoid or confused I might feel sometimes, no one deserves for me to treat them badly because of that. That's my issue to deal with. So, even if I feel... Because like I said, there are times I switch between feeling just unbearable loneliness and affectionate desire to where I want to give everyone a hug and I want to be friends with everybody. And just everything's cute and adorable. And there's other times that I just have an overwhelming paranoia and hatred of every single person I see, and that I have a worry that if I'm in a public place, whether it's a mall or Walmart, I'm worried that everyone around me is going to suddenly turn to me and come at me to kill me. And I'm not even saying that jokingly. I have that degree of a paranoia where, like, I live alone and my bedroom is on the second floor. And yet, even though my front door is locked and I don't really live in a dangerous area, and even though my bedroom door is locked, I have this sort of tendency that if I am in my bedroom, as I am right now, my door is shut. My door is locked, and I also have weights and dumbbells stacked in front of my door, so that even if someone were to bash through my door with a lock, the weights would still be in the way. And of course I have machete, I have an axe, I have hatchets, I have a compound bow, I have a Mossberg shotgun. I have weapons for self-defense. They're all in my room, ready. I also have some weapons hidden in the rest of the house, just in case I were to somehow be in a dangerous situation in another part of the house. But here's the thing. Like, there's times where I've had a dream, and I knew that it was a dream, because even though I was in my own house, my door was closed or opened in inappropriate times. Because I am the kind of person that if I am not in my bedroom, my door is open. I leave my door open. I do not close my door. Which means, if I'm in my house, that's like, there was one time I was in a dream, and my bedroom door was shut, but I was not in my bedroom. So I immediately knew, this is a dream. This is a dream. Because while that may not be a sign of emotional health and stability, it is something I am almost pathologically, designated in my routine to do. That if I am not in my bedroom, my door is open. I will never shut my door to my bedroom if I am not in it. That being said, the same is true that if I am in my bedroom, not only will my front and back door to my place be locked, but if I'm in my room, period, my door is shut, regardless of what I'm doing. Whether I'm watching television, even doing this recording right now, or sleeping. Bedroom door is shut. And when I open the door, I'm a little, watchful in case there's something out there. But if I'm in my room, my bedroom door is always shut, it's locked, and I have my weights and dumbbells stacked in front of my door. And furthermore, should I lay down to go to bed, I also put my folding chairs in front of the door in a way that they're not right up against the door, but they're there enough to where if someone were to force through the lock and the weights, they would hit the chair, making a clank sound. Because, if you push the weights, it'd be a kind of a dull sound. And if the chair were right against the door, they would feel that, and they would resist it. in a way that wouldn't make so much noise. But by having it a little bit further away, should someone push through the weights, it'll actually make a clank noise, against the chair, and I will hear that, and that should wake me up in time to be able to do something to defend myself. That being said, that degree of paranoia is probably not healthy. But it's enough to where if I have a dream and my door is shut and I'm not in my room, I know it's a dream. Same way, if I'm having a dream and I think I'm in my bedroom, but my door is open, then it either means it's a dream or I'm awake and somebody else is here. So, grandly, I have reasons for feeling that kind of paranoia, but again, ASMR and other stuff kind of help to emotionally deal with psychological instabilities. That being said, like I said, my emotional change to some people, well, it's not really based on, it's based on how people treat me, yes, but there are times where I'll change between being just extremely lonely and just wanting a friend and a hug to being very antisocial and feeling like everyone hates me, that no one wants to hear me say anything, and that everyone would just be a lot happier if I died, and if I did die, no one would miss me, no one would care, and that everyone just hates me. And just the idea of texture of people's flesh, or the sound of their voice, or every noise is just where I feel so angry and stressed that I feel like I just want to start knocking things to the ground and throwing things and cussing and just making very vile threats to people. Now, of course, I don't actually say that stuff because that wouldn't be right. And regardless of my own feelings of paranoia or anger or fear or emotional sadness at whether it be my isolation or numerous things in my life that have me very stressed, other people don't deserve to be treated badly because of that. Also, it would impact my job stability if I were to act out in such a way. So, I'm pretty good at pretending that I'm not having a panic attack when I'm having a panic attack. Granted, there are times I feel a little dizzy when I'm doing it, and I sometimes have to put my hand on something so I don't fall over. But I can get away with pretending that I'm not having a complete fucking freak out for no reason. Let alone if someone's actually being mean to me. Which I have had lots of situations where people were very not so nice to me in life. But yeah, I don't want to talk about that, but main point being, the other thing is that I don't think anyone at work even knows I'm depressed. I tend to be, I am very depressed, actually. I am very, very, very depressed and emotionally upset about a lot of things, and very stressed out, and feel like I'm on the verge of a mental breakdown and psychotic breakdown at all times. But, I'm pretty good at hiding it, and despite feeling very, very depressed and thinking some very bad things a lot, I've never actually attempted to hurt myself. So, I've never tried to hurt myself, aside from being very clumsy. I am very accident prone. I've walked into a stop sign before. Come on, I am very clumsy, and I can't skate worth a damn. I have a terrible sense of balance. I can't even ride a bicycle without falling over. I'm that bad at my sense of balance and hand-eye coordination. But, aside from my own clumsiness, I've never tried to hurt myself, or anything worse. Now, other people have tried to, and other people have hurt me, but that's the past, and that's not right now. So I need to stop thinking about that. But, anyway, main point being is that despite feeling very depressed and having very questionable lines of thought, I'm able to pretend that I don't. And despite being very, very depressed and feeling like a lot of times when I'm at work that I just want to lay on the ground and cry, and just give up on everything, I'm able to just keep working, keep doing everything, and actually help people and train people, and no one knows I'm depressed. I can actually put on a smile, though it's a little more awkward when wearing masks, and sometimes a mask and a plastic face shield over it. But heck, when it comes to work, everyone considers me to be... Everyone thinks I'm the most optimistic and cheery person that they ever met. Some people sometimes feel a little off-put that they feel like I'm too optimistic and I'm too nice. And when I'm training people, I'm the most polite and patient person there is, and that's another thing. No matter where I am, whether it's work, or a store, or a mall, or some random place in public, or the bar, I'm actually very, very polite. I mean, people pretty much never hardly hear me cuss at all, and I don't think anyone at work's ever even heard me be angry. And occasionally, if maybe somebody at work's having a bad day with something, I'll jokingly say a cuss word about something in a lighthearted tone, and I can make them laugh, and they'll giggle a little bit. So even if I'm not happy, I can make other people feel happy. I can make them laugh, I can make them feel better, I can make them feel less stressed about the things that are going wrong in our job. And, I can at least pretend I'm happy and smiling, and everyone thinks I'm happy. But I'm not. But I can at least pretend I'm not depressed, and so no one at work or anywhere can tell, and they think I'm fine and everything's fine. But yeah, at least here on YouTube, I don't need to filter that shit. If I want to play a video game like Binding of Isaac or something, and just cuss and go off and let loose on it, I can. If I just want to say cuss word and fuck bitch and all that sort of shit and just get into it and let that steam out, I can. At the same time, if I have that emotional, shift that I have sometimes, I don't have to, put up that front and pretend that I'm not trying to, cope with something. I can just be myself. I can just let it out, and I can just be honest if I'm feeling between severe loneliness or happiness to, the complete opposite of that. And I don't have to try to hide that. Whereas, there'd be no point in me doing it at work. Not only would it be bad, counterproductive to doing a job, but honestly, society wouldn't really be very accepting of somebody who is dealing with some really bad depression. And obviously I couldn't cry in public, and I don't want to just whine and complain in front of people. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want that to be an issue to deal with people. I just do my job and get stuff taken care of. And I can usually, if other people are feeling down, I can make them feel better. But I don't want to just whine and complain about my stuff, and a lot of times I just don't trust, even coworkers with my vulnerabilities. And even if I'm feeling angry or a bit, violently unbalanced in my mind, I can still say nice, demure, passive, timid, just polite, and, just bashful and just non-threatening in every way, which still technically me, but it's because it's not a fake front, because it's actually part of who I am. It's multiple aspects to my same, it's multiple aspects to the same mind trying to fight each other. So even at the times that the more not so nice part of my mind is feeling a bit energized in my head, I can try harder to force the happier part of me out. And I mean, I've never hurt anybody. It's just very depressed and sad. And I've never tried to hurt myself. Granted, we all have violent fantasies about ourselves and other things, but heck, I've never killed a single person in real life, but I've killed billions in video games. And I would never actually hurt somebody in real life. And I know I've said it before about guns. The whole point of a gun isn't about ease of use. It's about the dream of never having to use it. The whole point of a gun, I feel, is just it's supposed to be able to save lives. The whole point is the hope that you never ever have to use it. Because, honestly, I'm the kind of person that even if I say something slightly mean to somebody, I feel very guilty about it afterward, and I beat myself up over it in my head, and I'm like, I don't think I'd be able to deal with the idea of hurting another person, because it's just, I just wouldn't feel okay with that. But at the same time, just sometimes I feel very just not okay. But I'm at least very good at controlling that. And regardless of whatever I'm going through, other people don't deserve to be treated badly because of that. So that's just my thing to deal with. And it's fine. I mean, everybody goes through that too, right? So it's fine. But the main point is I can at least be happy to other people and they think I'm happy. Anyway, sorry, I really shouldn't go off on tangents like that. I'm really sorry. But yeah, let's just try to focus on the game, shall we? But yeah, main point was stained glass windows and architecture. It's not that I could ever afford anything like that, but I have seen the really fancy churches and everything, and they are very beautiful and amazing. It's absolutely awesome!
Especially that one, ma'am. It is said to be a gift commissioned by the fiancé of Lady Charlotte Ermengarde. The mansion's current owners have specifically requested that the restoration crew take great care in handling it.
Well, that is nice, but I don't think I'd ever want to live in a house.
It's a priceless work of art and the most distinctive feature of the mansion.
I feel like it's going to get broken in 3 seconds. By the time I've stopped talking, her attention is already elsewhere.
Isn't this place wonderful, darling? I told you it's not a total waste of your time.
I don't know. Isn't it a bit too small? We might have to break a wall down to have more room.
I mean, it's your place to do it, but the fact that I'm still a little real from the ghost lady, I don't think she's going to be okay with that.
Well, I think it is just right. Don't you think so, Marianne?
But here's the thing, guys. There are so many people here. The ghosts can't attack us all, right? We got this. You have safety in numbers. We can take the ghosts.
Splendid, Mom.
How is that a butterfly effect? Why am I getting butterfly effects for things I have no control over? What in the story could have changed by that?
But isn't it a little too early to make plans when no deal has been signed yet?
Never mind that. It isn't going to be a problem. We've got a wonderful legal team to handle everything. Start taking notes, though. I think I've got a few things I want changed before we move in.
I feel like this is the part where the ghost is going to get pissed at us. You know, like someone saying, oh, we're going to buy this place. I would knock down this wall. I would change this, change that. And I feel like the ghost is going to take that very personally offensive. The rest of their conversation gets lost in the chatter of our companions. I don't want to make any assumptions yet, but their sheer interest is enough to give me some semblance of hope. Oh, please, please, please let these guys be the one. I feel like this whole game is going to be us reaching for that small semblance of hope that is just a lie, like GLaDOS and her damn cake. Why does it give me a... Okay, the seller door on the ground. I know it's a wine cellar, and I know that was very, common for rich people in the past. But I'm just gonna, any building, whether it be a story, or a book, or a anime, or a TV show, or a movie, or even real life, if I see a door on the ground or something like that, I'm immediately going to think Evil Dead with Bruce Campbell. The open hearth at the end of the room, in particular, looks amazing, like the ones I've seen only in fairy tale books. I believe hearth is the word for this sort of fireplace-looking thing that's used for food. And mad props to the cleaning crew. Yeah, though they're probably dead. Seriously, after overhearing hundreds of their complaints about the soot and tar staining the bricks and how much of a pain in the arse cleaning this will be, they still managed to pull us off. Maybe they're all dead. Maybe all the shit is... all they're dead. And here's the thing. Maybe nothing's clean. Maybe the whole place is still completely fucking dirty. But the ghost is using, Aizen's Bankai to obscure your vision. No, I'm wrong. His Shikai. And if you know what, I'm making a Bleach joke. I'm making a joke from the anime Bleach. Or, if you're not a Bleach fan, with Aizen's sword Zanpakuto skill, what about Itachi? Uchiha from the Naruto series. You know, the Genjutsu. Maybe it's all an illusion. And maybe that shit we were saying earlier about the house being so fucking dirty and the blood everywhere, maybe that's how the house actually looks. And maybe it still looks that way. And you're just under an illusion. Or make it look presentable.
The highlight of the room, however, is what's underneath this hatch here.
I assume a wine cellar. But again, maybe this whole place is still completely nasty. And covered in mold and dirt and blood. And bugs even. But you can't tell because you're all under the effect of an illusion.
Oh, don't say anything yet. An underground wine cellar.
I've never really... like I said, I'm not much of an alcoholic person. But I do like juice. And I have drank carbonated juices. But I mean, I have had wine before. Especially back even at my wedding. Though not a lot, mind you. I didn't want to get drunk. Had more Red Bull than I had wine. But... yeah. Not really too much of an alcohol person, but I have tried different alcoholic drinks. I've never smoked anything, or did any kind of illicit drug, but I have tried different alcoholic drinks. Though I don't really particularly care for alcohol, but I will occasionally drink a little bit with other people as a social thing. But in general, sometimes at a bar, I'll just get a non-alcoholic cocktail, or say a little can of Red Bull, simply because it's more socially acceptable to be in a group if you're drinking something. But of course, they sometimes feel more okay with it if you're drinking something alcoholic. But usually I'll get something and I'll slowly sip on it, unless I'm taking shots with somebody. But even then, I always keep it to a very moderate number, because, I don't want to overdo it. And even then, as of this moment, it's probably been a couple years since I've had any alcohol in my system at all. And in general, I'd say I'd probably have the equivalent of 2 to 4 drinks at a maximum in a day. But usually, if I was 90% of the time, if I went out with somebody to get something alcoholic, I'd probably only have 1 alcoholic drink and then slowly sip on it and make it last. It's more so I get it for the making the socially situation more, because it's considered weird if you're in a social situation and you're not having a drink, and so it makes it a little easier to fit in and to interact with other people. But yeah, back to the story. This is the first time the guy in gray speaks up. Mr. Luke Wright. My memory supplies from the forms they signed earlier. His sudden attentiveness catches me off guard. Since the start of the tour, Only his wife has shown any form of genuine interest in this place. But this time, something lights up in his eyes at the mention of the Undercroft. I mean, it is possible that they would still have wine in there from back then. I mean, look at all the damn cutlery. What's so interesting about a basement? I really don't understand rich people sometimes. I don't know, they might be connoisseurs of different kinds of wines. That's apparently very popular with them. Though I'm more so a connoisseur of soda pop. Right now, he just gives me the impression of a child who has seen what he absolutely wants for Christmas. That's good, you want him to buy it! I've always found it cute whenever I see children act that way, my younger siblings especially. On a grown man, it's almost funny. I mean, we're all kids at heart.
Yes, sir. It could house around 7,000 to 11,000 bottles of wine.
Okay, I don't think you should drink that in one day, though. You might be a little drunk.
And the room, how was it built?
With wood and rocks.
The bricks that were used to build the cellar have been carefully picked for the purpose of maintaining and preserving a constant temperature and humidity in the room.
So, does it function like a refrigerator? Like, how cold does
It's a
it
good
get
place
down?
to keep your private collection in, if you have one, sir.
Can wine freeze? I've never put a thing of wine in a freezer, but then again, I don't remember the last time I've actually seen a bottle of wine. But I know a lot of alcohols don't freeze at certain temperatures. I know some people actually will put vodka and stuff in a freezer and it won't actually freeze.
It keeps the corks in good condition.
What? Okay.
Oh, love. Didn't you say before that you wanted to make your own personal vineyard? Perhaps you could start one here.
You know we're going to need space for that, darling.
And this isn't big enough?
If it's space you're worried about, sir, the Ermengarde mansion sits on a 46-acre lot. There's plenty of room for it.
Holy shit, that's a lot of space. Who needs more land than
We were
that?
told that the original owners had a horse stable built here before, too.
There's a contemplative expression on Mr. Wright's face, but he doesn't say anything further. His wife, however, seems really pleased that he has started to show interest, if only a little. I smile to myself. Okay. You know, I shouldn't be doing it, but I'm looking right at her cleavage. And I know I should be able to say, like, oh, it's just because the necklace is blue and it's pretty. But no, I'm looking straight. If there were nipples drawn there, I would be looking right at them. Yes, I need to stop staring at the tits and try to continue reading the story. I may not completely understand how these people's minds work, but I sure as hell know how to spot a buyer with sincere interest. Score! I can't wait to tell Rose, who's probably dead. The rest of our tour goes by without a hitch, until there's a hitch! After more than half an hour, we're able to cover almost every room in the ground floor and are heading to the parlor. Funny, the first time BRC had us survey the property, I kept complaining to Rose how big it is. Now I can't even bring myself to care, no matter how much my feet hurt. Maybe this is just excitement over a possible sale. Yes, it is. What is this music? When we reach the parlor, however, an odd feeling washes over me. Is parlor another room for a living room that apparently has a fireplace for heat and a bar? Right, some bigger places have bars. I remember being in one big mansion when this group of people were having a bit of a party, and it was apparently used as part of the Underground Railroad back, during the time of slavery. They actually had a big upstairs room of like 4 pool tables. I couldn't imagine living in such a situation where I was that rich. Holy shit. Then again, if I was rich, period, I wouldn't be working all the time and pulling constant overtime. Then again, I don't think it'd be worth it to be living in a place that's haunted. I'm perfectly fine living in a small place. My downstairs consists of a living room and a kitchen. And my upstairs consists of my bedroom and my son's bedroom, even though he doesn't sleep there anymore. It's just, he hasn't been over for a long time. This the voice is even more unsettling than the music. I don't even understand what the voice is saying, but I feel uncomfortable. And the more I try to understand it, it still eludes me as to what is being said, but the more uncomfortable I feel. My main point is this. My house consists of a bottom floor where I walk in through my front door, and I have a living room, and the other end of the living room is a kitchen with a back door, and then, of course, right next to the living room and my front door is a staircase that goes up to my bathroom and 2 bedrooms. And that's basically my house. It's a living room, which is a small front room, a kitchen, and then I have a staircase that goes straight up to my room and a bathroom. And this is so unsettling. It starts off as small goosebumps on my skin, a feeling of being watched intently. And now that you say that, I can't help but look at the eyeballs of all the damn paintings. I feel like there's going to be a person inside the damn fireplace, and a dude standing behind the bar, and faces against the windows, and the clock is even going to have a face. And that door, the 2 round things are going to be like eyeballs, and the handles are going to be a nose, and it's the door, the double door over there, is going to turn into a giant owl. Whispers in my ear, and shadows dancing, lurking in the corner of my vision. Okay, I don't particularly see any shadows dancing, but the light effect on the dust is actually very, very attentive. But I don't really see anything moving in the shadows. Dark silhouettes are gone when I try to look. Well, I don't see any dark silhouettes anywhere, but I'm sure that will change. A chill settles down my spine, making me feel sick, and I start to break out in a cold sweat. We're fine. We got safety in numbers. Okay, Isabel? We got the married couple, maybe some other people, maybe those old ladies. We're fine. The ghosts can't hurt us because we're in greater numbers. I can't do this. Yes, we can. Okay, we will make an additional save. I need to sit down for a moment. The old ladies in the group have been requesting for a break anyway. If I can
Excuse me, everyone. We will be taking a 15-minute rest here before we visit the first floor.
You make it sound like there's another floor. It only looks like there's 2 floors to the building. So, the ground floor is supposed to be a first floor. And the building floor above it, that's second floor.
In the meantime, please help yourselves to the refreshments and snacks we prepared.
If you're feeling uncomfortable, you should not leave the group.
If anyone has any questions, feel free to approach me. I'd be happy to help you.
You're doing well despite your terror. Great job. You sound a lot like me half the time. Thanks. I let them sit while I retreat to a quiet corner to recover. It's not what you think. Don't think about it. It's not what you think. I probably just caught Becca's cold. Don't think about it. How would a cold do this? I'm left alone for a good while. The same words keep spilling my lips in silent prayer. Until a hand taps my shoulder.
Hello, you there?
It's Madame Wright.
Yes, ma'am?
Oh, look at you. Having to show a group around a mansion this big must be exhausting.
Not a problem, ma'am.
You don't know the half
I'm
of
doing my
it.
job.
What a hard worker. Anyway, Isabel, right?
Yes.
Isabella, actually. But yes, what can I help you with, ma'am, right?
Please, just Hana. Call me Hana.
Normally I would pronounce that Anna, but Hana it is.
I just wanted to ask, how soon are we able to move in?
That's a definite sale. My brain completely stops, and the sick feeling plaguing me is suddenly gone, replaced by utter bewilderment. Is this a joke? She looks at me expectantly as I struggle to come up with an answer.
Ma'am, you see, But we haven't even negotiated a price yet, ma'am. We haven't even finished touring the rest of the mansion.
Take the
It'd
sale!
be great and all, but
In case you're wondering what that noise was, I farted. So, she stops me from speaking any further and puts a hand on my shoulder. For a moment, with her tight smile, she looks as if she has tasted a particularly sour lemon.
Oh, please, sweetie, don't insult me. Money is not a problem.
I wish I was that comfortable with finances, damn. But I can't complain, but then again, that's thanks to tons of overtime.
And, just between you and me, this place is better off with us than with some old lady who'll probably just fill it up with cats.
Not that I have cats, but there's nothing wrong with cats. They're adorable and cute.
I personally don't think there's anything wrong with having cats here, Ma'am Hana. I'm sure there's more than enough space here if you want pets.
Perhaps I'm still not feeling well, but really, what's wrong with cats? More importantly, why is she talking about moving in already?
Well, I'm more of a dog person.
Still, that's fine too. I used to have a dog. I also used to have cats at one point. But, animals unfortunately eventually die of old age. Anyway, back to this.
But you see, this is going to be a gift to my darling. It's going to be our anniversary soon.
How many years?
So wonderful if you can secure its purchase for us.
Like, we talking 10-year anniversary? 1-year anniversary?
Why, I can even offer something extra if you help us out with the paperwork.
We actually have a process for this, ma'am. I don't really think that would be necessary or appropriate.
And just what are you two lovely ladies talking about here? Leaving me and our lovely interior designer to talk here by ourselves.
I'm still thinking that you have met the interior decorator before and that you guys were fucking. But again, that's actually okay because, you weren't married at that time, right? Right? Because adultery, whether you were religious or not, cheating on your spouse is wrong.
What would the people think, darling?
Okay, is your hand?
Oh, it's just small talk, love. I was asking if she could help me with the paperwork.
I try not to wince when her nails dig into my shoulder. Technically, what am I getting butterfly effects from? In order for there to be a butterfly effect that shows that the story has changed in some way, I have to have some control over what is happening. I keep seeing an icon telling me that something is changing, unless that's just an autosave. But I assume that to mean a butterfly effect, and I'm not doing anything. I can't help but send an imploring look at Miss McCulloch, who only gives me an apologetic smile and a shrug.
Yeah, I can give you a fact sheet and a form to fill out.
Cute. No, kitty, that's my pot pie. She wastes no time in taking the papers from my hand and shuffles through the bunch. Oh man, Rose is going to be so angry at me for letting her do that.
Wonderful.
Hey, a sale is a sale.
And Marianne, I'd really love to talk to you about those changes. You took some notes earlier, yes?
Were they having sex while you were talking?
I did, Mom. But I really hope that this time...
Why am I expecting the worst out of you?
Excellent. Hopefully you can help us out too, Isabel.
I will try until the horrible ghost lady from the ring kills us.
Isabella.
But I didn't even watch a VHS tape. Not that VHS tapes exist in this era anymore.
Right.
Like the era of the floppy disk
name,
drive.
Isabel.
Thank you. That's very normal, polite conversation, I guess. But still, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's Isabella.
Right, not technically her name. I called her Annabelle at first, so...
Yes, that's great. We'll be more than happy to put in a good word to your superiors too, and... What's this?
What's what? D-list horror prop. A look of confusion and disgust appears on her face. Turning to her husband, he merely shrugs in reply.
An interesting work of art. Not to my taste, though. I'm sorry.
It's that letter from earlier. Though look at the way this is drawn. How would you guys describe this art style? But it's that letter from the dream. But what do you... This is just... I could never even dream of drawing anything close to this. Whoever drew the art for this game, you did an amazing job. Heck, the person playing the instruments did an amazing job too. It's just, you're doing a good job at unsettling me. Particularly the whispers thing. But the art, for everything I'm seeing, you did an amazing job, and it's great, but I know what the...
Buttercup, art is a complete overstatement for this garbage. It looks like a cheap prop from a D-list horror film.
Shush, love. Let the girl do what she pleases with... what do they call this? Oh, forget about it. At the very least, it's not as... dreadful as the one art exhibit I was forced to attend last month.
I'm curious about what said art exhibit was.
You should have seen it, Marianne. Even you would have been appalled. But I'm sure you'll know what to do with our walls once we get started.
I highly doubt it is as bad as you say, ma'am. Nevertheless, you can be assured that my team will only pick whatever suits your tastes. Nothing of this chain letter sort, of course.
Yeah, that could...
always work with a palette.
Not that we were really expecting it to be...
I'm quite sure chain letters these days don't come in this... form.
It is my turn to be puzzled. What do they mean? Rose and I double-checked everything. Are the papers I handed not enough? I want to ask what's wrong. I don't want to mess this up. But with the way Ma'am Hannah's leading the conversation, I'm afraid that's exactly what will happen if I do interrupt her.
That's good to hear. See, darling, isn't she an absolute delight to work with? I can't wait to see how this place will look when she's done with it.
Okay. Aside from the joking aspect that... Okay, the caricature of the face down to the side looks a little unsettling to me. But almost like that smile is going to become wide and full like shark teeth. But going beyond that, here's the thing. If you are buying a house and you suddenly come across a paper in with your buying the house papers that says help me in blood, don't assume that it's art. Assume that it's there for a reason and something has happened. That either maybe the real estate agent that you're talking to is in a scary situation themselves and they're trying to ask you for help covertly. But, it's not. Why would you ever assume that it's art?
Oh, you don't have to tell me that, Buttercup.
I feel like this is like the kind of horror movie where the protagonist makes a dumb decision and everyone in the entire theater is like, don't do that! A smile is back on her face when she turns to me and hands me the strange piece of paper.
I would still put it away if I were you, though. Otherwise, people might get the wrong impression. Anyway, as I was saying...
I don't hear the rest of what she says after that. I can only stare down the paper at the letter in my hands. So, when the title of this thing is called The Letter, I expected a letter with, more writing. Not just help me over and over in blood. The sides crinkle in my grip and my breathing grows labored. Dread quickly fills my mind.
Isabella? Isabella? Are you alright? You're looking pale.
I didn't even notice when Rose's group joined us in the parlor. I want nothing more than to say, no, I'm not alright. Here's what you say. You don't say this from a creepy ghost person. What you say is, Rose, they found something terrible in our paperwork. Look. And she's like, what the hell is this? I'm like, I don't know. But how the hell did that get there? That way you can alert everyone else to the seriousness of this without making yourself look crazy. And I'm saying this, my gaze has automatically gone down to her cleavage. Trying not to stare at her tits. And it's very hard. Okay, 3 more seconds. Okay. I want to leave this place. Need to keep my eyes down at the letters of the words. Because I remember everything as clear as day. I assume it has to be an auto update. Auto saving. Because I have done nothing. There are no choices. So I can't affect a decision. It's real.
The letter. I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Careless? I've been so careless. How do I even tell them about that without looking like I've gone mad? Here's what you do. I didn't know that letter was there. You're like, what do you mean? Rose, look at this. You see this? She's like, oh, that's awful. How did you put it there? Like, I didn't. I don't know how it got there. Show the letter. We show the letter. I blurted out before I could think twice about what I'm saying. You show the fucking letter!
Rose, we need to get out of here. This place is cursed.
Rose cast a nervous glance at the people in the room. Okay, that was not the best way to say it, but it's understandable given the stuff you're terrified about. Most are still engaged in conversation with peers, but those curious enough turn their head in our group's direction have given her trademark saleswoman smile. A tight expression is on her face when she pulls me aside.
Isabella, we've already had a conversation about this weeks ago. Those are just stories.
What about the letter? Okay, I'll make an alternate save because I have actually made a decision. Isabella, okay, I read
I'm
this.
telling you that it's not. I saw something in there. It's not human at all. I thought it was just nothing, but isn't this letter proof enough?
She gently reaches out to pluck the paper out of my hand. Without even taking a glance at it, she folds it back neatly.
Look, I'm really getting worried about you. I know you want to see this open house through, but your condition is more important.
Why didn't you at least look at it?
Give me a few minutes to wrap things up here, and I'll drive you to the nearest hospital.
Why
No,
didn't...
no! You don't understand! There isn't a condition, Rose. No concussion at all. I'm fine. But this place isn't, and you're being stubborn about it.
Why didn't she at least look at the damn letter? Before Rose could open her mouth for a report, a hand lands on both our shoulders, pulling the two of us to a closer distance.
Now, ladies, what seems to be the problem here?
Nothing, sir. I just had to clarify a few things with my colleague.
Well, it certainly seems intense. A smile fits the two of you better, in my opinion. Especially darling little Lily here.
Why did you call her Lily? Her name is Isabel. He gives my shoulder a gentle squeeze with an inscrutable smile spread across his face. I feel more uncomfortable about that than I do about the ghost. Sir? Sir? Inappropriate touching.
It's Isabella, sir.
And while I do stare at these characters' cleavage almost non-stop, they're characters in a story. At least in real life, I can control my gaze. But, you're touching people without permission. And you're married. But then again, maybe this could be called for in this situation. Though I don't understand the Lily thing. But maybe, because sometimes people will grab someone's shoulder if they seem to be freaking out in an effort to calm them. So maybe I'll give this guy the benefit of the doubt that this isn't some sort of sexual advance or inappropriateness in any way. That he is simply grabbing her shoulder to try to relieve her of a panic attack, which could help with some people and make it worse with others. It's kind of a iffy thing there.
Of course. But my point still stands. And with two beautiful ladies here, I'm sure.
I feel like the tone of his voice and the emphasis on the beauty lady part, is he hitting on us?
And I'm sure little Lily here would certainly appreciate it if you remove your pretty hands from her, darling.
Well, I definitely pick up that bit of jealousy, but I'm confused. The pressure on my shoulder lifts as soon as those words leave his wife's lips, while the scowl on her face is like a splash of cold water on me. It is also impossible to miss the displeased frown on Miss Callow's face. Well, I mean, they're not upset at you, Isabel. They're upset at him for, him. The realization that we might lose the sale because of my outburst instantly dawns on me. Rose will be beyond pissed.
I think I need to step out for a while. I'll be back.
Bowing my head, I mutter a quick apology and gather my stuff to make a quick exit. It doesn't. Not sure what mood this music's supposed to be. It doesn't matter if this place is haunted or not. I've caused trouble, and Rose can be quite unforgiving of behavior like that. She still should have at least looked at the letter, but I understand she's desperate to make the sale. I almost at the door when she catches up to me.
Isabella, wait!
The apprehension must have been quite obvious on my face, because her expression instantly shifts to something gentler, eyes softer, a fond smile spreading on her lips.
I'm not angry.
I know. I'm sorry I ruined this for you.
I think I should stop this part here, because it's probably gone for a minute. Yeah, an hour and a half. Wow. Yeah, I should definitely stop this and not have it go super long. But I do want to keep recording. Even though I do need to go back to bed so I can go back to work. One more part. Bye.